Recently, a British Columbia resident noticed that they had been paying someone else's cell phone bill for 5 years. This is the sort of false charge that could have totally been avoided had they been regularly checking their transaction histories. In today's video, we're going to walk through how false charges like this come about and ways that you can help protect yourself from these false charges. So there are a lot of ways that these false transactions or these false charges might come up. An example might simply be your bank has made an error, or it might be that you signed up for a free 1-month trial, but had to provide your credit card information, and then it automatically starts billing after that month is up, unless you've gone in and canceled that membership. We also see sometimes maybe a store, the clerk not paying attention and accidentally charging you twice for a transaction, or you might be the victim of fraud. A lot of scamming that we see recently has been done by phishing, so encouraging you to click on a link in an email to access your data. It might be through a simple phone call from what seems like a trusted source, or even just accessing your data through public Wi-Fi. We've seen a lot of company breaches recently, so it's possible that these scammers are acquiring your name and some account information through these big corporate data breaches, or even scanning a card's magnetic strip through a skimming device. So how do you avoid all of this from happening? How do you make sure that it doesn't continue for, let's say, 5 years? It is so important to continue to monitor your transactions. It can be really easy to sort of let this go and not think twice about it, but I do encourage you to log into your bank account, your credit card accounts, and check your monthly transactions. Not only should you check your regular bank accounts and credit cards, but some people like to have a credit card on hand for emergencies, and you should also be looking at those statements as well. Doing it monthly can be a little bit time consuming if there is a large number of transactions, so it might be easier to do it in little snippets and looking at your transaction history weekly. Sometimes you'll probably notice that you'll see a transaction and you don't recognize the name of the company that charged you. This might be because a company that you did a transaction with might have a parent company that goes by a different name. So oftentimes you can probably validate this if you have kept a receipt, or even by looking at your calendar to see what you were doing that day, and it might help jog your memory as to what that transaction was caused by. And there's so many different types of banking apps and third-party apps available that will help you track these transactions. So whether you're using your banking app or maybe an app provided by a third party, you should be able to set it up so that all of your transactions fit into a specific category. For example, you might have sports and recreation, dining out, and groceries. And so if you get a large charge that doesn't fit into one of these categories, it may prompt you to look into it more. Of course, if you are using an app, especially if it's provided by a third party, make sure you look at how secure it is, because you will be having to disclose a lot of your banking and credit card information to this app provider in order for them to monitor your transactions. And on that point, a lot of these apps will provide spending insights. So you'll be able to see where you're spending your money, and of course be alerted if money is spent in a category or in a location that's really out of the norm. And this is going to prompt you to look into it more. And at any time, if you were ever to lose, especially a credit card, be sure to contact the credit card provider immediately and stop any new transactions from going through. It's so easy now to just tap, especially for smaller purchases. And so this will help prevent someone from picking up your card and maybe going on a bit of a shopping spree. With so many purchases being made online and us sometimes saving our credit cards to our favorite online stores, it's really important to make sure that you're checking your transactions regularly, as it's becoming more and more common for people to be stealing this information from you. So if you enjoyed today's video, I encourage you to check out the link in our bio, where we regularly post market and financial updates. Be sure to subscribe and leave a thumbs up. Thank you for watching.